Okay, everyone. We're just going to do a really quick video or tutorial on how to do an eye. So I'm just gonna try to do this pretty fast. 'Cause I don't know how long my phone will honestly record. Sorry for it being super shaky, but there we go. Get it a little closer if we can. Okay, so basically, we're just going to draw the shape of an eye. Now, basically, eyes, depending on, the way an eye is open or closed a certain way, eye shapes can look different in the angle that you're viewing an eye. But typically, if you're looking straight on, it's going to kind of resemble a oblong kind of, I don't know how to describe it. But you'll see. Anyways, it's like you'll see the shape. So I'm looking at just an eye for reference because when you are drawing and you're trying to make something look realistic, you always want to be referencing something so you kind of know how to draw it. I know some artists, they draw so much and they can just draw an eye probably out of imagination and it's no big deal, and eventually we will all get there to that point. But in the meantime, yeah, this is, typically speaking, the shape that you're going to draw. I don't really know how to describe it. But as you can see, this is going to be the tear duct right here. So, sorry, my hand. Right here. And there's going to be shading in these corners to represent. Then we're going to be drawing the iris and the pupil. So you want to draw as close to a perfect circle as you can, and it's starting up at the top, so it's not full view, but actually it's going to be about, and you can go over it. It doesn't have to be exactly perfect, but this is a stage of sketching. Okay, so that's not really exactly perfect, but you can fix it later. So there you go. That's what you have so far. And then we're going to be doing a quick reference for where the eyelid is going to be. And the eyelid typically can be different too, depending on, like I said, the eye that you're referencing or drawing. This particular eye, the reference picture that I am looking at, the eye is like this. The eyelid. Okay. Now we're gonna obviously blend these, so it's not gonna be as obvious, but pretty much there's a line too as well that goes underneath the eye. This will actually not be a visible line. You're going to shade and blend this so that it's actually pretty much out of view. And like I said, eyelashes here, we're not going to add those right now, but it'll be covering this corner. So now we're going to start with the pupil. Hold on, I lost my reference photo. We're going to start with the pupil, and like I said, that's going to be typically in the center, and depending on the expression or the light coming into the eye will determine how big or small the pupil will be on the eye. Now on this particular photo, the light there's right here. This is going to be white. This is going to be the brightest part right here because that's a reflection, as well as there is another bit of reflection right here. So we're just going to box those areas out because that's where the reflection is going to be. Now as far as the pupil on this particular eye, sometimes there might be a little circle in the middle. You can do that if you want, but for this particular eye that I'm referencing, there isn't a highlight right there. So we're going to go ahead and fill that in as dark black as we can go. Now when you're doing drawings, you want to make sure that you do as much, I'll make this a little bigger so it doesn't take as long. You want to make sure you're doing contrast as much as you can so that it's going to really stand out. And I'll show you in a minute my next kind of steps. This is just a process that I do. I know people do it their own way. I'm just showing you digitally how I kind of would do it on a tablet so you get a general idea. But anyways, that's going to be solid in the middle. Okay, then I'm going to blend because I don't want these lines to be incredibly visible now. So I have my basic outline. You're going to make sure proportions are correct before you really start getting into your drawing. So you're going to look at the white proportions to the right and the left. You're going to see if the pupil is centered according to your reference photo or whatever you're looking at as your reference. And you're going to kind of check the shape and everything and see if it's exactly how you want it. And if it is, you're good to go. So you can start working on the process. So I'm going to start blending these lines because obviously this is going to be, everything's going to be blended. You kind of want the lines a little bit, but the one on the bottom especially, I always like to blend and then go back later and make it darker with more contrast. That's just how I do things. But you'll see as you just kind of basically blend these lines, things will start taking shape. And I'm going to go ahead and blend this. Like I said, you're going to keep the pupil unblended because that is going to be your focal point right now. But the rest you can just blend, except also the highlighted parts. Keep that. So once I kind of blended, then you can go back. You're going to start shading. Now, typically speaking, the white parts of an eye in a drawing or painting are never going to be white. So there's going to be certain areas that are going to look whiter than others, but you're going to see that they're typically never going to be the paper or white. So the only parts that should be white when you're doing a drawing or painting are going to be your highlights and basically the spots that might be super white from reflection or, like I said, highlights or sun or something in your drawing. So you want, the way to make those stand out is to make sure that you keep everything else in the drawing not looking white. So and it doesn't. If you look at a drawing or image close, you'll see that it actually does not color match to white a lot of things that you think are white when you're looking at something. So then we are going to go ahead and blend. I'm going to go back with my, I'm going to actually use the spray paint tool right now. I use a lot of my blending with the spray paint tool. So I just got to make this a little bigger. There we go. Okay, so now, oh, I lost my image again. So now I'm going to start working on some of those darker areas that for the contrast. I'm going to see where those are. And typically, I'm going to make the opacity a little under the eye too, right here. There's always going to be a shadow. So you're going to want to include that kind of from the beginning. It's going to be in the white areas too. It's from the eyelid. It's going to typically cast a shadow. But right there, and there's going to be more shading over here, the dark corners, because you want the eyeball to have the appearance of being shaped, round. So the way to do that is obviously with shading. So, sorry, I think you're not centered. There we go. Sorry about that. I'm going to get a better setup, but right now it's kind of ghetto. But yeah, so as you can see, these areas under here are going to be darker, and under here, in this picture, this might also actually be even makeup. If you're doing a female eye, there's going to be probably more contrast in the eyelid area and things like that because due to makeup or eyeliner and mascara, different things. So, and then there is a little bit of contrast in this corner right here. And, oops, sorry about that. Okay, what happened? Okay, we're back. Sorry, it's kind of hard work doing this on my tablet. Okay, and just a little bit more under here. We're going to go back in later, but typically speaking, these are the areas that you should be shading. And then, of course, here, let me do it right here. Make this a little bigger, make it easier. Right here on the eyelid, these areas are also going to be a little darker. Right about here. So like I said, it depends on your image, or what you're looking at. So it's not always going to be the same in every drawing or painting or whatever it is that you do. But in this particular picture, what I'm looking at, it is right about there. And the line is, I'll blend this out again. Okay, there we go. Now, I'm going to start working on the pupil. So the pupil is typically going to have some darker areas right immediately under the eyelid. So it's going to go, hold on, actually I need to make that even darker. Whoops. So right under here is pretty dark. Under here is pretty dark as well. Just ignore my kids. Okay, now I'm going to do a very light color for the whole iris, and we can remove things later too as we go. But in the middle, I'm just going to start making a basic shade. Oops, lost the image again. Once again. But here we go. And in the middle, basically, this is going to be like bicycle spokes, is kind of the way you want to think about the iris of the eye. And the photo I'm doing is just going to be black and white. But typically these can be an array of colors, and so like I said, once again, you're just going to be referencing the picture or whatever it is you're looking at to determine. But typically speaking, the edges are going to be somewhat darker. What I love about digital art is you can always go back and make corrections. So nothing is 100% final. And that is very helpful for, you know, when my kids disturb me and cause me to make mistakes. But it's okay. I remember an art teacher, what was it, the Japanese method is, you know, like any happy mistakes, or what was the term? Yeah, happy mistakes. So you don't ever actually really make mistakes. But as you can see, the iris has kind of these change of colors here. I mean, not the iris, I'm sorry, pupil. I mean, yeah, the iris, my bad. But yeah, anyways, so now that we have that, and also in this reflection, you're gonna see the reflection of the eyelashes. So like I said, that should be the darkest parts, so it'll really stand out. You want this to be white. I actually got something in there, so it's not gonna look 100% white, but that's okay. It's all right, you know. It's not the end of the world or anything like that, so you don't have to worry. But like I said, there's a shadow that's going to be casted right about here. You can make it as dark as you want or as light as you want. It's up to you. But like I said, you can typically follow the reference photo. So try to match it or whatever you're looking at. But yeah, there's different things. Okay, so there we got that. Now I'm going to actually start taking away things in the middle here, because I need a lighter color for reference. See, that's another thing I like about the digital art. You can go ahead and go in, and you don't have to really technically do any erasing if you don't want to. That's too big. So now we're going to just start to create the lighter areas in the eye here. It's very interesting. Now it's really crucial to make sure that these parts in spokes or whatever you want to call them that you're doing, that they come out directly from the center, like as if they were in the center of a bike. This is important because it adds to the realism of your drawing. So it will it will basically make or break your eye drawing. And the more, I want to say, non-patterny or the randomness of it also is going to help with the more realistic approach to your drawing, is what I've learned. So typically, if it looks very, very like they're exactly separated, each one or something like that, it's gonna, I don't know, it just isn't gonna work. So okay, so there's that. I'm actually going to get a little closer here. And typically speaking, around the pupil, I usually shade after I kind of get the middle part of the drawing kind of going. I usually get shade right around the pupil. Oh, lost the drawing again. I'm gonna start, once I get my equipment and everything set up, I would like to start live streaming on Twitch for you guys. I've seen a lot of creative artists on there doing a lot of awesome things, and I don't know, I just haven't really found my platform yet of where I kind of like to show you guys just some things. I'm not obviously claiming to be the most magnificent artist. I myself, there's a lot of things that I work on myself, and I'm not 100% where I'd like to be, but I still like the interaction and chat with people, you know, that are like-minded, have similar interests as mine, things like that. It's hard for me sometimes in the world of people to find those individuals that I would say I align with. I'm not trying to say that in a bad way, but yeah, there's very few people that I kind of, I'm not going to say not get along with, but that are kind of, I feel, on the same level as me as far as my thoughts, the way of thinking, things like that. Not saying that I'm better than anybody. I'm just saying that in general, I don't have a whole lot in common with a lot of people. But I pride myself on that, because I look at the world and I look at how a lot of people are. They're pretty messed up. So I'm a good person, you know. I'm not mean to people. I try my best to just be the best person for myself and my kids. But, you know, occasionally you run into that, I don't know what type of person you want to call them. They're pretty messed up, and they try to ruin your energy or your vibes, your day, whatever. I'm just kind of over those people in general. Okay, so there we have that. And now, okay, I'm actually going to probably go back in. I'm going to make the inside a little lighter, actually, so let me find a lighter color. Hold on. I'm not going to be 100% happy with the middle part. I want it exactly the way I want it. So, like I said, it's complete randomness is kind of the way to go here. We're doing this, and you just make it kind of random. And this part you can make up. I mean, honestly, it's kind of like just whatever with this, to be realistic. But the thing you want to keep is, like I said, the shape to create the roundness of an eyeball. So it is very important that whatever direction you have these little lines or spokes, that you want to imagine that they are coming from the center and going out. You don't want them to be crooked in any way. You want to think about a bike spoke. And that is probably the best tip about doing the pupil, and also the contrast, the extreme contrast. For some reason, looking at this eye right now, I feel like it should be a tattoo. I don't know why that is, but probably because it's black and white. Okay, so I did that. And actually, after I did some random stuff, you know, I'm going to go back in now. And it just takes time, you know. The thing about drawing is, what I've learned is, if you're really seriously going for that realistic kind of approach to something, the thing is, you really want to take your time. I found that one of my biggest faults when I was trying to achieve, you know, make my drawing better, is I was just being a lazy artist. Like, I would not keep going on something, and I would stop. And that was probably one of the hardest things that I had to train myself on. You know, watch videos, just keep improving, getting better. But really putting in the time is probably one of the biggest things that people don't do. They stop at a certain point thinking it's done, and there's always more you could do, believe it or not. I didn't realize that, but yeah, there's always more. So but yeah, I mean, you can go as far as you want until you're happy with it, is the point. But if you are looking at a drawing, you want to go as far as you can with the contrast and the details until you truly get to that point where you're like, yeah, I'm liking this a lot. So now I'm going to draw the little, here, actually, I'm going to shade one more area real quick. Hold on. I'm not ready to do the eyelashes yet, but I'm worried that my phone might die or run out of recording time for you guys, and that would make me upset. So I want to try to do it as fast as I can here. But okay, at the top here, remember how I said this is a highlight? Well, it is actually a little bit shaded, just so it doesn't look rough. Want to create the illusion of just at the very top here. I mean, it is, like I said, the whitest, should be the whitest part of the drawing because it's the highlight, but it is shaded here a little bit. And right here, this looks off. So I gotta make sure I shaded that. Just at the top. And then if you want to go back in and make it a little white, like I can go ahead and I can erase, you know, right here if I want, just to keep it, because like I said, you want to keep this is the whitest part. It's gotta pop, because this is gonna make your drawing. The highlights, there's also highlights in here, but we'll get to those later. So I'm just gonna, in the meantime now, I'm gonna go ahead and do the highlighted eyelashes in the middle. Now they're gonna be a little bit lighter because they're the reflection than the main eyelashes. So you're gonna want to not do those as dark. But yeah, you just kind of, like I said, randomness is the way to go here. So you want it to be kind of random. If you do them too perfect, then it doesn't look right. It doesn't look realistic. Okay, so there's those reflection eyelashes. And now, let's see, what can we do next? More contrast in certain areas. I've probably gone actually darker than the reference image that I'm looking at, but that's okay. It's not a big deal. Oh, I did it again. But yeah, there is a little thing there. Okay, let me see. Kind of fearing that I am going to run out of time with you guys, and I don't want that to happen. So I'm going to I am going to rush this a little bit. Now, like I said, I just don't want to run out of time. I want to try to show you guys as much as I can before the time runs out. So there's a line here. This is a little shaded, a little bit. And there's like another line there. It gets a little darker right here. That's probably a little too dark, but it's okay. I'm going to do the highlight now. So that actually, because we're doing digital, I can go back in with the whitest white, and I can put it right there where I need it to be, the highlight. If you were doing a hand drawing, pencil sketch, or whatever, you would need to be using an eraser if you already marked these areas. But the highlights are right there. I guess that is the whitest white. Wow, let's see that. But anyways, also sometimes under the eye, like in certain areas, there might be a little bit of a highlight. Just kind of where, you know, but okay, I'm just gonna show you guys the eyelashes because I want to make sure that. Also, you can do one more thing. The little veins, you know, that might be in the eye, they're kind of more grayish scale. There's not actually any in this photo that I'm looking at, but you can add those for realism. Why is it not showing up? There we go. And there's really, they're mostly on this side, but there could be a few. Like I said, it just depends on your reference photo. So just add the little veinies, whatever. And okay, so now for the eyelashes, I'm just gonna do those real quick so you guys can see. I usually go pretty dark for the eyelashes. I'm actually gonna switch to the pencil tool though. Okay, so I don't want them too thick because that will look fake too. Okay, so eyelashes, typically speaking, they're going to go in different directions. So when they're out here, they're going to go in this way. When they start getting in the middle, they're going to kind of go like this. And when they get to this side, they're going to go in this direction. Okay, so it's going to go that direction, kind of more angled. And then it's going to kind of go to that direction, a little angled. So you'll see what I mean when we start doing them here. And they're going to be kind of random. So you can add your lashes here. They kind of cross too, naturally, eyelashes, just how they look. So and I'm not the best at it, I mean, obviously, but the more practice you do, you know, the better you'll get. So it's all about just practicing, and they get shorter as they go in this direction. There's still kind of some longer ones right there. Also, for contrast, you can go back in and add some that are darker, just a couple, make it pop. So you always want to be thinking about contrast when you're doing art. So most importantly, you want to get the correct shape or form. You want to think about contrast. If you're doing color, you got to think about color theory. Making sure you're matching colors is crucial, especially in a realistic drawing, if you're trying to do realism. Now, I'm not saying this is 100% realism, but if you want to try to get to be more realistic, this is the route that you need to go. So, and then we're going to do the ones at the bottom. Now, if you notice the bottom lashes, they only come, oh man, hold on, I lost my drawing. They only come out of this line right here. So if you, whoops, I did not want to open that. Oh no, I didn't want Office. Okay. Why is it doing that? No, 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 no. Okay, sorry, I almost lost my picture. Okay, so they only come out of this bottom line, not from this top inner one. So if you do it from the inner one, it's going to be off. I learned my lesson. I did it wrong one time. Oh, no. So, yeah, like I said, random. Same kind of concept with the lower lashes. Just kind of... The more they cross and do different directions, the more realistic it's going to appear. So that's definitely the way to go with doing eyelashes. And you don't want them to I don't know, be very, I don't know what the term is. You don't want them to look even, you know what I'm saying? You want, and there actually is some white highlights in between some of these lashes from the drawing that I'm looking at. So, like I said, you're going to draw what you see. So if it's in the picture or if it's in whatever you're looking at, make it. If it's not, then don't. It's pretty simple, you know. I don't know, I might have done too many on the bottom, but you get the point. So there you go. That's the eye. Yeah, like I said, I would go probably actually more in depth on this drawing, but just for the sake of this video, I'm going to stop here because I'm just worried about running out of time. But I hope you guys enjoyed this. If you did, please like and subscribe to my channel. I'm gonna, like I said, really go full-blown with the art videos. I know a lot of people may not have been too impressed by some of my previous ones, but that's okay, because you know what, art is subjective, and you know, people are always improving no matter what age they are. I'm always, you know, learning new things, getting better at different stuff, improving my skills, and that's what true art is really about. You know, you never want to stop. You always keep pushing yourself. So even if you're pretty impressed with your work or other people are impressed with your capabilities, go further, learn more. There's always stuff out there. I always find new things, and there's no shame in honestly watching a tutorial, watching somebody else draw, listening to their tips, doing anything, taking an art class, a painting class. I'm gonna admit, I wasn't even properly trained with painting. I mean, I know a lot of people just learn it on their own, but I actually have considered wanting to go to an actual real painting class, just to really zone in on learning to paint properly, because I paint, but I don't think that I do it properly. So anyways, there's just a lot of goals that I have for myself as far as improving on my art, and I know you guys probably would like to improve on your art as well. And like I said, there's so much information out there opposed to when I was younger and doing art. I wish it would have been available to me then, but it is now, so take full advantage. Watch all the art tutorials you can, and I wish everybody a wonderful day, evening, whatever time zone it is for wherever you guys are watching this video. And like I said, if you want to see more, I'm going to be getting more in depth into my art. So if you'd like to follow me on my journey, feel free to like and subscribe to this video, and I'm going to try to give you guys the best stuff that I can, and I really mean that. I'm going to put my best artwork out there, and I'm going to be doing it just like this. I want to do it in front of you, so there's no smoke and mirrors. You can see that I'm actually doing it, because I like to be real and authentic with people. I appreciate that from others, and I'm sure that you guys appreciate it as well. So enjoy, and I will hopefully see you guys again soon. Have a good one. Bye-bye.